Welcome back, everybody, to a Season 17 Honest Thoughts video. Yes, it's been a little while since I've done one of these, but I also feel like my thoughts have been scattered throughout the last couple of videos, and this one sort of puts everything all together. Now, I know Week 3 isn't out yet, but realistically, if we look at this season as a whole, how is it really going to change? Where can it really change? Yes, Level 4 will be out, it will add new defenses, and maybe something will change, like, event-wise, or maybe there'll be an extra AI or something like that. But how does that really change up the overall feel of the season? TLDR, it doesn't. Essentially, so I'm releasing my Honest Thoughts video now. Here's everything I think about Season 17. Yes, LDW, I am going to try to be less negative. I know, okay? Anywho, if you haven't already, consider subscribing, join my Discord, follow my Twitter, you know the drill. Let's get into it. Giveaway winners announced at the end of the video, if you're here for that. So what do I think of Season 17? I think Season 17 leaned a little too heavily into the too much of good loot thing. And that's sort of a phenomenon I explained in my previous video. I think it was 2 or 3 videos ago. I can't even remember which video it was about even. But essentially, Season 17 took way too much focus into the good loot thing, and then they ended up stifling it. It was one of those updates where the patch midway through really just killed the motivation for a bunch of people. Yes, there is good loot, but the grind to get the good loot is much more, and people are less inclined. I mean, I would be perfectly fine logging in every so often and collecting my reward, calling it a day, and that's it. And that's pretty much what I'm doing even. Because of this recent change, which we'll get into in a minute, it's one of those patch updates where LDW rolls out another patch, like a few weeks into the season, or a few days into the season, and it sort of transfers all of the hype away and kills it. Now, just to recap what I mean by loot too much of good loot. Again, this is never me complaining about good loot. I will never complain about good loot. But what I mean by that is a season leaning too heavily into good loot at fault of the season. So let me tell you something like this, right? Season 16, if I were to tier rank that, I think now, after Season 16, letting all of the hype wash over and letting myself view Season 16 without any interference whatsoever, if I'm just looking purely at Season 16, the previous season, I would rank it A tier in that season tier list. Why? Because Season 16, yes, it got repetitive. Yes, it had the same old stuff that just, gradually is getting old. The blood samples and all of that. But it really offered something different. It was the first time LDW really focused into those, do these events X number of times with these blood samples, and then get these really cool rewards. Oh yeah, and there's also these really cool storages. And the hype was there around it. I think LDW YouTube naturally followed that. They could see that Season 16 was naturally good. JCF talked about it. I'm talking about it. Everyone can see that Season 16 was naturally good. Season 17 fell off after the first week. I will be very blunt there. Season 17 videos are pretty much... And the reason why I think that is Season 17 leans a little too heavily into good loot. You kill a bunch of zombies and do this event, 300, 400 times? And all you do is just fight off zombie waves again and again and again and again, and eventually you gradually get whittled down. I know a lot of people complain about Fort Moss, but I should have a video, maybe on the Resonate channel even, because this video deserves a lot more thought than just your standard commentary video like this. LDW might as well try. There's no harm in trying this. But I don't believe that any season will ever be able to top Season 3, and that, again, obviously goes into its own personal video. I don't think that Season 17 even comes close to comparing to Fort Moss. Yes, tower defense and all that, but the resources and the hype around it, and just the overall community energy feel around the event was there with Fort Moss. And if you didn't care about that, then there's the ATV and Bunker Bravo or any of that fishing. This thing, all you have is this tower defense, and if you don't like that, then oh well. So I suppose let's get into things I liked. I like the good loot. I think LDW has done a very good job at actually letting players get their hands on some of this rare loot. People are more than excited to see purple cards appear in that section, and I think LDW has done a very good job at getting access for people to obtain that loot. Another area of compliment, the Android iOS update style fiasco. I'm gonna have to stop saying that in my videos. Good job, LDW. I don't mean that sarcastically. I am actually very glad that the Android iOS update style fiasco is history. It hasn't happened. The update has dropped simultaneously for the last few updates. So whatever is going on there, I must applaud the behind-the-scenes work on that. Phenomenal job in that regard, fixing that aspect. Anywho, on to the giveaway winners, because... As always, winners 24 hours to contact me, Twitter or Discord, or your prizes get forfeited. Follow me on Twitter and Discord, and you might get one of these extra prizes, because people don't tend to claim them. Anywho, subscribe, ZD out.